these are still going, like Metal Max / Metal Saga, Jake Hunter, and the Heracles thing, Glory of Heracles. It's kind of bizarre. And then there's friggin', I don't know how we've not talked about it yet, Magical Drop.
Yes, of course.
Oh shit.
Which like influenced so many puzzle games. Like,
I always thought of that as an SNK game. It could be because its
not
definitive version is sort of the Neo Geo version.
Yeah.
That's right.
Magical Drop 3 is pretty much the definitive version. But yeah,
Data
like
East and SNK had kind of an interesting relationship, actually.
well, Data East was an for the MVS for a time. So they became like sort of closely tied for a little while because Data East stopped making their own arcade boards. They used to make their own, their own JAMA boards and stuff. And so when they stopped, then all their arcade stuff was going on.
And that's why you find like Heavy Barrel or whatever the hell it was on SNK machines.
And the very, very, well, I don't want to switch gears yet. Let's still talk about Magical Drop.
Okay, go right ahead.
Magical Drop was the just great match 3 or more well drop game. And, there was like Astropop that became popular from PopCap and Critter Crunch has a direct relationship to it. And from one of my favorite obscure game companies, Face, there was Money Idol Exchanger, which is game that was their last real game.
That was like a super deliberate ripoff of Magical Drop, though. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. But what's funny is that system than Magical Drop, and that complex chaining system is pretty much replicated in Critter Crunch. I don't think they did that on purpose, though. I think that was actually because I'm not sure they played Money Idol Exchanger because I'm not sure that many people have.
Who knows?
But I thought Magical Drop was great because it was also one of the first puzzle games to have like really big animating sprites in the background and stuff, which
that you would never look at because you were playing a game.
I looked at them, especially Earth, because she would always
World.
World, yeah.
And actually, World is the reason that the Data East collection for Wii has the rating it does, isn't it?
What? Because her tits bounce too much?
Yeah, she's a little jiggly. She's like a cartoon character, but what's the rating on that?
Teen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
just for the
animated breasts is one of the ESRB descriptors.
Can't have those.
It's not exactly hardcore. But whatever.
Christian Nutt over at the Gama Sutra office says that Magical Drop 3 is like one of his favorite games ever. So
yes, I have heard that from him.
The Neo Geo Pocket Color
I was
version.
I discovered it on Neo Geo Pocket and played a lot of that.
Really good. I played the Wonder Swan version because
was that Wonder Swan or Wonder Swan Color?
It was Wonder Swan. It was not Color.
That seems difficult.
Yeah, no, it's fine. They shaded them appropriately enough, and I liked it because you could play it in Tate mode. You could play it vertically, which pretty much no other. They didn't even do that in the arcade. Like it was the only time that you could play it totally vertical well mode. That was really cool.
Yeah. It's one of those great puzzle games. In fact, we have Magical Drop 2 in our Neo Geo cabinet over in the lobby.
Also, now that Matthew Shirk is no longer here, it's not played every single day.
That's right. He did put a lot of.
He pretty much lived in front of that.
He did. Yeah. He spent a lot of time in front of that machine.
Speaking of SNK and unreleased things, they also Data East's final MVS game was meant to be a game called Ghost Lop, which
what?
Like a rabbit.
It was what?
Like a rabbit lop.
It was like
you lopped off your arm and now you have phantom pain.
The ghost part was there, but I don't know what the lop could have been like part of Drop, maybe.
I'm gonna guess that it's about a ghost rabbit.
It was maybe supposed to be Ghost Drop.
Yeah, I like that. I'll go with that.
And it got messed up. But anyway, it was called.
So we don't know much about this.
It was called Ghost Lop, and it was a Magical Drop / Puzzle Bobble style game. With a ghosty theme, and that never came out, and it was very sad for everybody, like me especially, because I was paying close attention to them at that time, and I had a little cry.
Have we finally caught up to 2003?
No, not yet.
No, because we totally missed Caveman Ninja. All right, well, I've mentioned it. Right. We're done.
Well, what happened in '99 was that they had to restructure and everything like that, and they started, they started already licensing their products to other people and stuff. So like that's when you were getting PlayStation versions of Magical Drop and stuff. And there was even a new like super light Magical Drop that it wasn't a new game, but there was super light magical drop thing that came out.
Budget re-release, sort of. Yeah.
And but they couldn't get it together, and they wound up going into bankruptcy in 2003, during which time they were selling negative ion generators to try to make money. I don't even know what those are.
That's what I got from Wikipedia as well.
They make your self feel better somehow.
It's funny because I saw it on Wikipedia, but I actually reported on it in April 2003 on Insert Credit back in the day, because I was looking at their website because I kept being like, what's going on with Data East? And I had a post from earlier in the year, like in January, where I was saying, what's going on with Data East? Their website just lapsed. And I had to find them on the Wayback Machine, and that was where like pretty much all that they had like some legacy stuff, and they were like, buy our negative ion generators. Yeah.
Wow.
That business, but that's
do we have any idea of what actually went wrong besides like, oh, stuff wasn't selling?
No, I've got some ideas.
All right.
I mean,
Tattoo Assassins.
Tattoo Assassins probably contributes. I mean,
decline of pinball machines certainly.
I'm sure
it
was a high budget game for the time.
Pinball going away was a big deal because it did well for them for a while, and there were like some machines they sold 10,000.
And certainly outside of Japan, they really didn't have any franchises that grabbed us.
No, they didn't.
I mean, when we think about what's memorable, we have like Karnov.
Yeah, they didn't really expand out so well here, and then they sold the division to Sega, and then Sega sold it to Stern, which is funny because the pinball division that Data East had actually came from Stern originally, so it kind of went full circle. But so that dying screwed them, and then there's just like so many Japanese companies around 1980 was like unavoidable. And if you weren't really doing it,
they were MVS licensors. Why didn't they jump on the Ultra Hyper Neo Geo 64?
Yeah, well, that was obviously
that worked out for everybody that jumped on it, didn't it?
Magical Drop 64.
So they just couldn't really transition into the next generation, and they were already not doing well, and so they couldn't exactly get money from anybody to get more staff to actually make 3D, and so that was kind of that.
Yeah, the same old sad story, unfortunately.
Plus or minus some negative ion generators. I have to look up what the hell that is. This is the thing that is a problem, I think, going into these Retronauts sessions. Half the time I check the Wikipedia article on whatever the hell we're talking about, and half the article is shit that like me or Brandon or Jeremy or anybody here has already written.
Right. Yeah, it's funny.
It's not helpful.
Yeah. it's very amusing to like. Sometimes this happens to me a lot, and it's now, but sometimes I'm like, man, I need information about this specific video game or this company, and like the only information I can find is shit I wrote on Insert Credit.
This is like whenever I Google like Harlequin porn and it brings up my old website.
Let me know when and if you would like to take a detour so I can talk about Data West.
Right now it's fine. I did actually note that down here. And
Data West actually related to Data East?
No,
or were they just,
not at all related. I
just existed on the other side of the country.
They were just in. So Data East is in Tokyo. Was in Tokyo. Data West is from Osaka. And so
it actually makes sense.
So maybe not related.
So they all had Texas accents.
Not related, but
only in the ADV dub.
Was it a coincidence?
It was not. I doubt it was a coincidence.
All right.
Data West did start after Data East. I don't know exactly when because, again, this is 100% a situation where the most information about Data West is stuff that I wrote.
Yeah. I know. I checked too.
So their early games, they did like the 4th Unit Adventure series, which was a kind of sort of let's say gunbuster-ish. But it was more detective-y, and that was on early computers and stuff. And up until just a few years ago, they actually had still on their website all these awesome like big original resolution screenshots and like high-res scans of the box covers if you happen to own the game but you didn't have the box and stuff like that. It was really cool, but that all died. You can get some of it on the Wayback Machine, but it's not all replicated. And then they started getting into, and they did many more adventure games, but they started getting into so-called real games with Raise Amber, which was a horizontal scrolling shooting game.
Yeah. That was it was all like hyper pre-rendered and...
It wasn't pre-rendered. It was all regular old sprites, but it had amazing, super epic music. And it first one was for the FM Towns Marty, or just the FM Towns series of computers. And then Raise Amber 2 and 3 were on the PC Engine company because I love the PC Engine.
This is what I find funny because like Data East was not very good at shooters.
No.
In fact, like shit like B-Wings and was just
all their shooters were bad. But these guys, the shooter. The Raise Amber series was really good, but really hard. It was one of those one hit, and you're dead, and you start over kind of.
Did Data East do Act Fancer?
What?
Act Fancer Cybernetic Hyper Weapon. I think that was Data East. It was a terrible shooter. Whoever the hell made it.
Maybe.
Anyway.
I think I played that the other day when you mentioned it, but no, I don't think it was them.
So some other quick stuff about Data West. They also made a strategy RPG called Gulklight for PC Engine.
Gulklight?
Okay. Gulklight.
It sounds like something you don't want in your ass.
It's true. There's a lot of stuff like that.
Gulklight. I should come back with cheeseburgers.
That and a ghost lop.
They made the best game for the Pioneer Laser Active, which is not hard to do. The Pioneer Laser Active was a laser disc.
So this isn't Rocket Coaster?
It's not Rocket Coaster. It's Vajra. It was a shooter.
Oh, Vajra is the one I'm thinking of. That is all like pre-rendered.
Yes, that's the one you're thinking of.
Like it has all these really hilarious like swoops down into the low landscape and then into the cityscape, and there's constantly this robot that's like flying in your face and getting in your way.
Yeah, so they wound up.
Yeah, it's worth looking up.
Kind of after the PC Engine, they wound up spreading their resources a little thin and making consoles that were going to fail, such as the Laser Active, and then also the PCFX. They did 2 games for that, one of which was the FX version of Cutie Honey. And then for the PlayStation, this was kind of their last hurrah. They did a game called Brave Proof, which was actually a really good action RPG. Okay, really good is I'm using that term too loosely. It was
highly competent.
I thought it was good. It had a really system where you could combo your attacks and your magic together, and they would yield a lot of different results, and that was really cool.
This was a strategy RPG?
Action RPG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was really just. It had pretty nice graphics. It had a really good, combo system, and I thought it was much better than people gave it credit for, which they gave it no credit because nobody ever played it. But if you get a chance to play that, you should. And then they had a couple unreleased PS1 games when they basically just stopped and gave up because I guess probably Brave Proof didn't do that well. They had one that I really, really want to play. It was a top-down, like Bloody Wolf for PC Engine style or top-down Contra style. I'm having trouble coming up with a proper analogy. Heavy barrel style shooting game with really nice chunky graphics, all 2D.
Was this the one with the female characters, the heroines? Like,
no, that's the other one.
Okay,
that I don't remember what it's called.
Was it Kid Fenris or someone recently posted about that
on on Lost Levels, basically there was a disc that had a preview of
right.
one of the game that I was describing, and some information about the other game came from a magazine. But yeah, there is a demo of it which I still have yet to play.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Pretty neat. So anyway, that's Data West. They had the stuff up on their website for ages, but they took it down in 2008, I think, and they are now just a software and like satellite navigation company. But I'm guessing they're probably still dudes that work there that worked at the old company. I would imagine, and that's just my secret hope because I want to go there.
Next time you're in Osaka, you gotta look them up.
Oh, absolutely, I'm going.
I assume you've tried to contact
them through email.
Right.
That hasn't worked out, so I'm gonna have to go down to the building.
Maybe they make software for those ion generators.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
It reminds me of like when
little
SNK...
mini games. You can chain together ions as they emit.
Aw. Or maybe like a folding at home kind of thing. But no, I was just reminded of like when SNK went out of business, and very shortly their website was replaced by some like outfit that made air conditioners.
I do not.
I don't recall that happening.
Yeah, it ended up changing back, because they did kind of bounce back from that. But yes, apparently they like sold the SNK.com site, and it was like some fucking air conditioner manufacturer.
Oh, I wonder if, because with this is a tangent again, but with the whole SNK thing, the boss Kawasaki, he knew that this was happening, that it was that Aruze was gonna buy them out, and so he left the company preemptively and was like trying to retain all the rights and stuff, and that's how he reformed SNK Playmore himself, by like doing this weird shell company shady business stuff.
I was wondering about that.
So it's possible
actually.
that he could company that he knew beforehand, so that then he could get it back. I wonder.
That might make sense actually if he was that canny.
Yeah, I mean, because they're all from the friggin' Yakuza. So they had to be a bit conniving. That's definitely Aruze's ties.
Well, I was going to say a little thing about Data East Arcade Classics, which also came out recently for Wii.
I haven't seen it. What were your impressions?
It is fairly bare bones. There are a good amount of decent games. I mean, there's
I see Burger Time and Bad Dudes.
It doesn't just have Burger Time. It also has the really obscure sequel, Peter Pepper's Ice Cream Factory.
Yeah.
Which
I forgot
never
about that.
ever played.
I remember the existence of that. I remember seeing that in like old issues of like Joystick in 1983. But
I don't like it.
that was.
But it 15 games, right? No unlockables?
No unlockables. More than 15, I think, something like that.
Is it?
I don't know. I totally forgot. This is days ago.
So I looked it up on Gmode's website, and they said there would be 15 games plus some that were unlockable.
They make games unlockable on this shit.
Me too.
At least it doesn't involve
Like,
a fucking slot machine.
I
or
paid
something,
for
probably,
it. Give it to me.
Yeah, there are unlockable extras, but it's like music clips and
See, that's
marquee
fine.
scans and things like that.
Because Data East has a Twitter.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah,
I do follow that.
So they are at the cutting edge of technology.
you know it, dude.
But I'll tell you what about Data East Arcade Classics, that is very bare bones, and the main menu music is taken from one of the shooters, Super Real Darwin, and it's just a totally grating tune, and I don't know why they keep it on the main menu. It's terrible, but
Nice.
and most of the games have like a weird like scaling problem, like it doesn't quite have tearing, but it is sort of that weird like wave effect that you sort of get when the screen
it
scrolls.
does like a ripple from top to bottom, that sort of thing.
It's just like I can't explain. I'm not that smart, but it's not it's not native resolutions or anything like that.
Right.
But it does have Magical Drop 3 and of course Burger Time and its sequel and
Does it have
Caveman Ninja, which
Heavy
I'm
Barrel?
partial to. Yes, Heavy Barrel's in there.
a Data East game.
Yeah, much better on Game Boy, I would say.
Heavy Barrel was decent.
But I think the game that most interests me on that, the one that I really want to play is it Secret Agent, the one that's basically, hi, I'm James Bond. I mean, it's Roger Moore right there.
That's Sly Spy, right? Also,
I don't know the alternate name, but it is basically like a James Bond version of Bad Dudes.
Basically? Oh, so it's not like Rolling Thunder.
No, it plays like City Hunter. If you ever played that on the PC Engine, well,
I didn't. Yeah,
I unfortunately can only refer things to PC Engine.
I realize that. That's why we don't actually speak the same language.
Right.
Yeah, it's much like Bad Dudes, where they just like throw a whole bunch of random enemies at you, and you just try and survive.
That's not James Bond at all.
No, it's not. Sorry.
It's like the newer James Bonds.
But you can build the golden gun, I noticed.
That's right. The golden gun is kind of funny. It's just like this power up that you get, and it's just like it becomes this super laser thing that you can just, not a laser, but it's like concentrated blasts that just shoot everything. It's fun because it also lasts quite a while in the game.
I don't know. Sorry.
A little trivia piece about this, which maybe people will find obvious, is that what games could appear on this were pretty much determined by what licenses Gmode had.
That's right.
Because this is Gmode only.
Yes, and Payon, which is the other rights holder for Data East, they have Karnov and Chelnov and all
the games we really want to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And obviously the Robocop
and Heracles
is not going to work out.
No.
So.
That ain't happening.
Well, unless we have anything else to say, I just want to go ahead and jump into like if we have our favorite Data East games, any that we may be able to name. I'll start, give you guys some time to think about it, except Brandon, because I know he has a whole list.
Yeah.
Bump and Jump I mentioned before, the NES version. Just great game. Jumping cars, can't go wrong at all. Congo's Caper on Super Nintendo, I think, is really great. Is a really good platformer. It's apparently in Japan it is the canonical sequel to Joe and Mac. It does have a 2 on. Actually, has nothing to do with Joe and Mac except that you play little caveman monkey boy, and it is a pretty good platformer. I urge you to check that out. Chelnov Atomic Runner. Either version
better
really.
Than the name implies.
I mean, yeah. I guess it had some controversy because of its ties to Chernobyl and things like that. So the Genesis version, the Mega Drive version is
like why we renamed Contra in the 80s.
Yeah, Genesis version has nothing to do with that. It's all actually looks better. It's sort of a remake in a way.
We never mentioned that Chelnov is Karnov's brother, so we should
That's
mention
right.
that.
I thought it was cousin.
Oh, you might be cousin. You might be cousin.
Much like Congo is the country cousin to Joe and Mac, per the print ad for that game.
So Chelnov is the Zonk of the series.
Exactly.
Yes, he's the Zonk.
And you know what, Sharky? You know what else Data East published was Caveman games.
Oh,
did you notice?
they?
Yes.
Did you notice,
I had
Brandon?
no idea.
Did you notice that I put that in PC Engine terms for you?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate
yeah.
that.
Now, did they just publish it, or did they? Who
courtesy
developed
just for you.
Caveman games? Because these people have issues.
They published it on NES, as far as I know. They probably did some computer versions as well, but as well.
Well, I like the idea of Caveman games.
Yeah.
It's also one of those things. It's like any Olympic games, kind of. In that time, they were pretty much unplayable things. I mean, it was just like there was always an event where you had to wiggle the joystick back and forth really fast, which prepared you for puberty. But then they also had like the mate toss. It was pretty much like the hammer throw, except you're flinging a woman by her hair.
Yeah.
I think that's due for.
That also prepared me for high school.
Yeah. Except the other way around.
Right.
Right.
And that's why you cut your hair short now.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites, Dashing Desperados, which is, I guess, like the sequel to Spin Master for Neo Geo. It's those two little cowboy kids, and this is for Genesis, by the way. Dashing Desperados is kind of a funky race game in a way, like I guess like Uniracers, but not quite as wacky as that. Neat sort of platform racing game, and it's not technically a Data East game. They just published it, but I really like Panic, Sega CD.
Oh, I love that game.
From Switch from Sega.
That was some UK
originally.
developer made that. Oh, no kidding. I had no idea.
That is kind of the definitive Ray Barnholt game.
Yes. That was one of the first games I wrote about for the GIA and took like almost exactly 1,000 screenshots of it.
Yeah.
And
that was you.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I actually read that.
I love that game to bits.
No, that was when I hunted it down and played it for the first time, I think.
Yeah, Data East published that and added some crazy ass English voices to it, and it's a fun little game. One of my favorite Sega CD games of the three.
Well, since you picked everything.
Yeah, okay, now we can go on.
I've got plenty.
Yeah, I'm just going to say RoboCop because it's good for a quarter.
All right, and Caveman games, how about that?
Sure.
All right.
And I guess I'm going to say, I don't know, but I did.
Good answer.
I did kind of like Karnov, and I feel like the NES game was very interesting, and it's one of those things I need to revisit as an adult because I feel like there were a lot of odd concepts in the game that
I think it was just a random pile of bullshit that sometimes worked out.
It might have been, but there was something to it that did your average 8-bit platformer.
Yeah, the fact that you could acquire wooden shoes and had no idea what the hell to do with them.
Right, exactly. I think I figured out what to do with all the stuff in the game. I remember finishing it, so that's got to be something.
I'm really impressed, honestly. You're more bloody-minded than I ever was.
Oh my god, yes.
All right, it's my turn.
All right, hit us.
Okay. So one is obviously Cliffhanger Edward Randy, as I mentioned.
Right.
That game is amazing for all the reasons I described. But then there was another OMG moment that I had that I forgot to go back to, which I'm surprised we have not touched on, is friggin' Windjammers.
Yes.
Is amazing. That
I
is
did want to mention that.
Fantastic game. It's basically
like a sports sailing game.
No, it's Pong, but much better. Basically, there are goals on either side, and you have a character on either side, and there's a dividing line, and you throw this disc, and you're trying to get it into the goal, but you've got super moves and stuff like that, and it's sort of like a what the hell downtown friggin' dodgeball. What my brain's
it's
gone.
like Kunio.
Yeah, it's like a Kunio-kun version of Pong.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic. Like, you look at it and you're like, that's kind of not very exciting. But if you play it, it's just so addictive, and the control is fantastic.
Yeah. And it's on Neo Geo, so it's super flashy in that way.
And so, it's big sprites, and it's never been ported.
Yeah.
And that blows. I don't know who owns the rights. But anyway, that game is fantastic. I liked Bloody Wolf on the PC Engine, which was a weird top-downish. Well, it was more like a 2/3 view, like sort of on your side-ish, and you shoot dudes, and it's fun.
More or less top-down, I'd say.
Yeah,
God, it pisses me off so much, though, because it does that sort of like, it swindles you in the middle of the game almost, in a way. Like, you have to go through much more of the game that you thought you were going to go through. Never mind, sorry. Rage was bubbling up. I couldn't speak.
I do like Fighter's History.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite thing, but I do like it. I would say that until SNK came along, it was definitely the best fighting series that Capcom wasn't making.
Well, it was sort of made around Fate of Fury 2 time, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I mean,
that was when SNK was on the upswing.
Yeah, they were on the upswing, but I don't really quite give them perfect credit until they get to the, like 3 and Special, and I guess Special was already out. Okay, I'm wrong.
All right.
I'm wrong.
All right.
Okay, I take it back. But anyway, so third best fighting series.
All right.
Anyway, then Trio the Punch.
Yes.
Trio the Punch
I've heard of it.
is a really bizarre game that I played through on the PS2 remake that Hamster put out. It's a really bizarre game with one song that just loops forever, the same stuff, and it doesn't make any damn sense. Sometimes you just like beat up 2 enemies and then there's a boss. Sometimes there's a boss and then nothing happens, and like when it decides you've beaten up enough dudes, they all just warp off the screen, and then the boss comes in, and there's bizarre humor. Everyone's like making weird faces or shrinking into a tiny thing, and it's stupid and ridiculous but awesome, and people should play it. It's like I think that it was one of the first games ever to be called kusoge, which in Japanese is short for shitty game.
So it was so flagrantly bad that this is one of the first games that they made up that term for.
Yeah, but it was like, it doesn't just imply that it's bad, because if it were just bad, people would ignore it. It's like so bad that it's like, I want to play this. So it's something that something awful goons might enjoy.
A certain charm to it.
Yes. In there, I guess those are my favorites.
All right.
Oh, and Bump and Jump, because I love that game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you like the arcade one.
No, I liked the home console versions, because that was because I never owned an NES. I had a 2600 and an Intellivision because we were poor, and those.
But they're all based on
cheap.
the arcade one.
Yes, they are.
So
yeah,
no, it's okay.
All right.
Bump and Jump is Bump and Jump.
Yeah.
Fuck the checkerboard.
I know.
Screw
I'm
that
just
thing.
kidding. Jumping cars can't go wrong, like I said. All right. Well, this has been fun, hasn't it?
It has.
Thank you for the yay. I know it's
so
been
much.
Yeah, I know it's been fairly disorganized, but I think when we do these just one developer shows, there's really no better way to do it. So I hope we
There's something to be said for a stream of consciousness.
yes, I hope we touched on your favorite game, listener. And if not, please do not email me and bitch about it.
And I hope that everyone appreciates that this time, after everyone complained that we didn't research for our PC Engine thing, I actually researched everything.
All right.
Everything I maybe 75% true, I think.
And probably citing one of us.
Yes.
So
Yeah, so actually it could just be something I made up in 1999, so I don't know.
Well, I applaud
but now
you.
it's definitively made up. So
Right.
Oh, yeah. And I attempted to research, so, that makes me number 2. I don't know about you guys, you others, but no, I'm just kidding.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Brandon, for coming by and spending some quality time with us,
Yes, sir.
geeking out, which is always fun. Thank you, Jeremy, for,
Sitting
it's
here
your
like
show.
a lump.
Yeah. Thanks for sitting here and being on your own show. And
It's your show today, Ray.
I know, but not really. Not in the grand scheme of things.
Oh,
Someday, Ray, all this
so
will be yours.
self-deprecating.
In the, one of these days, I'll just rise up and thanks, Sharky, for coming by.
I've been preparing for this for weeks. I wrote my notes on the bottom of my beer bottle. I was just trying to find them.
Did you finish? You finished.
I did.
Good for you.
yay.
You could have brought more.
No, would be nice.
Thanks for. Yes. Well, that was a pissy ending, but thanks again for listening to Retronauts. I don't know what we might do next time.
It may just be like random debris from Game
GDC,
Developers Conference. Yeah. I may be doing, like I did at PAX and just walk around recording people randomly.
Okay, so I won't be on that, and that'll.
But
be
you might
great.
be. What if I find you at GDC and I'm like, Ray?
Yeah,
You're looking.
Yeah,
forward
what
to that, I
then?
can tell.
What then?
I'm going to say I didn't look at anything. I don't play games,
There you go.
Maybe you can interview John Romero.
and I don't play much games at GDC. I pretty much only go for the panels, which are my favorite things.
Yeah, that's
is
what
what you
people
should
should
do.
go for, yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah. Hopefully there will be some glorious golden nuggets of history this year, just like that Project Atlantis stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to see Yoshio Sakamoto. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, you go there for the panels. You go there to interview a bunch of indie guys who either will completely wash out and you never see them again, or they'll do really well and they'll never talk to you again.
Right.
So
Yes.
basically, yeah.
All right.
Looking
Sounds
forward
good.
to it.
Sounds very good. And yeah, I guess thanks again, everybody. And we'll see you some other time. Thanks for indulging me again on this hosting journey. I'll stop
Thank
talking
you, Ray.
now.
Bye-bye, pals.